Recording in progress.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Art 196, an introduction to designing web graphics for the spring semester 2022. Today I wanted to get started with lesson 8, which covers templates. If we look here at the last page that we designed, okay, looks no different than what I have here, okay. It will serve as a template for us. And that what we've done is we've already created the basic framework for our pages. We've already put in placeholders. We've created a nav bar, a header, sides and main content, and a footer for all of our future pages. Okay. Now, the trick is that you don't want to have to recreate these every time you create a new page. You want to be able to pull from kind of a parent and then to make a child page from that. And that's what templates do. So that's what we're going to work on today. So what I've done here is I've opened up, it's called My Layout.html, and that's the page that is automatically provided for us in lesson 8. But again, I caution you to remember to, when you are working on it, the assignment, go to Site, Manage Sites. This is very important. Whatever site you've created, remember I have multiple sites on my computer, but I have created one. It was for the spring 2021, but no different. It's the same each time. And I'm going to go ahead and double click on mine to make changes so that I can make sure that the root folder, by clicking on this little folder right here, goes to lesson 8. Okay, I want it to be attached to lesson 8. So hopefully this is crashing. There we go. Click on the folder, and we can see that lesson 8 is selected. But if you're not sure, then go back to the Dreamweaver lesson folder that we have. Okay, and I'm going to select the folder lesson 8. So that will become my new root folder, and click choose. Then under advanced settings, go to local information, and this is where we select our image folder. And again, you will already have an image folder selected from the last lesson, but it's linked to lesson 7, not 8. And with each successive lesson, the image folders are almost identical to one another. But if you, by mistake, link to a previous lesson, when you go to publish it, it won't work. So I'm going to click here on this folder. It's, for default image folder. And again, it goes to images. But which images? I need to go to lesson 8. And then I'm going to select the image folder in lesson 8 and then click choose and save and done. Okay, so now one of my file folder or file tabs selected. I have the what I want to do is I want to start by opening up my layout.html. Now this has been changed and saved and stuff. So what we're going to do is, this is our basic page, but from this, we are going to save it as a template. Now, templates will have locked regions and editable regions. The things that will remain constant, the elements of our page that will remain the same from page to page to page, will be locked. It will only be the left aside, the right aside, and the main content that will be unlocked for us to add and edit content and add additional styles to our style sheet. Is that clear to everybody? Yes? No? Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I already have my layout.dwt. This is something from the previous semester that you don't need to upload to the server when you publish it. This is a local file, and it just stands for Dreamweaver template. Okay, so I'm going to come up here, and with this page, let me go ahead and make sure it's all saved. There we go. Okay, so what I want to do with this page selected is I'm going to go to File, and I want to, it's not going to allow me to save as template. So what I need to do is I'm going to switch to, from Live View to Design View. And when you look at it in Design View, it looks horrible. It's really hard to work on, but there's some things that we have to do in Design View. And you'll see later when we begin to add content to this, that's what we're going to have to do. And when I switch now to go to File again, you'll notice that I can save this as a template. Why do we have to switch to Design View? I don't know. That's just one of the quirks with Dreamweaver. So I'm going to save it as a template. And I'm going to name it as, make sure that the correct site is selected. I want to go ahead and save it as my layout. And I'm going to, so that you can have as many layouts as you want. But I'm going to save this one as my layout 2, so I just know the difference. Because there's the existing one. And with yours, there should be no existing one. But if there is, go ahead and create a separate one. And if you want, you can throw away the old one. Or if you're unsure, just leave it. And like I say, save a separate one. So now I'll save it. Okay. Update links. Yep. Okie doke. So now I can go back from Design View to Live View, just so it looks a little bit better. And now what I want to do, see, I still have my layout.html. Okay. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have this is the Dreamweaver template. If I look at the tab up here, this is the template. And I want to be able to create child pages from that. So the next thing that I need to do is I need to create the editable regions. And again, to do that, I need to go back to Design View. And then what I'm going to do over to the left side, make sure I can click anywhere over to the left side over here. And what I want to do is where I have a row aside, I want to make sure that it is selected, the entire aside. And now what I can do is I can go to Insert, and I go down to Template, and I want to add an editable region right here. Okay. And it's going to ask me to name it, and I'll just call it left side. You can call it, you can name these regions whatever you want, but I'm going to name it left side. Okay, so that's one editable region. And you'll notice that a little blue tab appears at the top to know that that is an editable region. The rest of these will be locked. Now I'm working in a template. This is not where I create the next page. I'm just setting this up to be able to create future pages. So the next thing is I'm going to select the main content, and again come down to, I don't want main row, I just want the article selected. So I'm using the tag selector down here, and it's highlighted in blue. That's what I want. And now I do the same thing. I go to Insert, and I go down to Template, and I select Editable Region. And I will just name this Main. This is our main content. Okay, and this will be our second editable region. And then I need to select the third. So just click anywhere inside the right aside, but then with our tag selector, I make sure that the aside is selected and it's highlighted in blue, and I repeat again. I go to insert and I go to templates, and I say that I want to add an editable region. I'll name this one right aside. Okay. So I have just about everything that I need. I can go back to my live view. And I can go ahead and I can now make sure that I save the template. I have it, I name mine layout, my layout version 2, and I'm going to go ahead and say just save all. File, save all. Okay, now that I have prepared my template, I'm ready to create child pages from that template. Okay, so to do so, I go to File, New, because I want to create a new file, and I want it from site templates. And you'll notice that I have two templates here. I have my layout and I have my layout 2. Well, for our purposes today, I'm working from my layout 2. As I said, you can name yours whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and create a child page from that template. There, now I have a new untitled page that looks identical to what we had before. But I'm running into issues here. Is notice that some of the stuff, there you go, it took a moment to appear. So again, I think for discovering that my broadcast, things kind of slow down here on my end. And so I'm going to just take it slowly and try to make sure that everything works properly so that we have something decent today for you to review on your own. Now, from this child page, you'll notice that we have these, now in orange, the little editable regions that I can place. Okay, but if I try to lock, if I try to select something in the header, if I try to edit something in the nav bar, it's all grayed out, which means that it's locked. And that's the way you want it to be. You want it to be locked so that later when we create more pages from this template, should I need to add a link in my nav bar or edit the nav bar or edit the footer or the header or any of those non-editable regions, I go back to the template, I make the changes and I save it, and it will automatically update all of the child pages that have been created from that template. That's the advantage to using templates, so that you don't have to go to each page and make the changes separately. Okay, so what I want to do now is there's a few things that we need to do to our new page. We need to start by saving the file. So I'm going to save it, and I'll say save as, and I'm going to name it About Us. Okay, saving it in lesson 8, and I want it About Us. About Us HTML. So that's the first thing that you want to do. One already exists, so I'll cancel. I'll name it About Us 2. Again, let me go ahead, version 2. So I'm going to put 2. So About Us 2. There we go. Anytime from previous semesters or when they provide the finished versions, sometimes it's best to just name it your own. So the next thing that we want to do on here are a couple of things. We want to make sure that we create a title for the page, and that's down at the bottom, a document title. Right now, it is an untitled document. And so when you go to publish your pages, where that appears is in the tab when you have it. So I will name this. You can name it whatever you want, but titles are used very often now for with search engines as a way of finding your website and your pages. So it's best that, since this is about us, that I don't name it initially about us, but I name it maybe Meridian Green Start. Probably spelled this wrong, and I can always come back and change this. Meridian Green Start, and then maybe put a hyphen, and then I can go ahead and I can put about us. Okay, so what it's going to look for, the search engine, is Meridian Green Start first, and then you'll see that it's about us. And if we go to preview this in a browser, you'll see in the tab, you'll see this. That's really important. Okay, so that's one of the first things that we do on here. I told you I misspelled it, so let me go back and change it. Meridian Green Start. So hold on. The next thing that we want to do is begin to add some metadata. And one of the things that we can do is add a description to the page. Descriptions are used, again, by search engines. And once they find your page, that will be the first thing that it lists, that it presents. So when you do a search for someone, if they haven't put a description, it will look in the first page, in that page, and it will load first few lines of whatever content is available. So if you want something that's a bit more descriptive, that would be the place to do it. And that will be placed in the head of our document. So normally the head is locked. But again, if I go to Insert and I go down to HTML and I go down to, I can go to metadata, keywords, description. Another thing that was used in the past are keywords, and that's something that you can add to your pages. Generally, the only time you need to add keywords is maybe to your home page. And the home page would be anything, if it's a page about an artist, then you would go ahead and you would say that this is art related. It's kind of like hashtags. Fine art resolution, or fine art, maybe, hold on here. Anything that is descriptive in just a word or two, so that when people do searches and they put in those keywords, that it will help for yours to pop up. So let me go back again, and let me go back to HTML, and I don't know why that didn't pop up. Let's go to the description again. And if it doesn't work, one of the things that I will have to do is probably, there's our title. So everything else is being grayed out. So let me go back to our template, and maybe I need to put it there. I was under the impression, or remember, if my memory serves me correct, I was able to do that from any of the other pages as well. So let's try this from here. And again, I'm going to go from the template, I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go to HTML, and it's all grayed out. So that means I probably need to go to the design view. And again, let's go to Insert, and let's go to HTML, and there we go. We'll put in a description. And that's what you should see. It pops up. Okay. This website. Actually, let's go back here and let's edit this. Let's just say description of this page goes here. Content of this page. So I'll just click OK. And what you should see in the head of your document, as soon as I switch over and I save this, okay, I'm saving the template. Let's go back over to the child page. And if I look inside the head of the document, I should see that. Let's scroll down. Title, About Us. I don't see it yet, so that's okay. That's fine for now. They may have changed a few things. So, how do we add content? They have provided a couple of different ways of, or suggested a couple of different ways of adding content for us. If you're working directly from an HTML page, that's one way of doing it. You can also work from, for example, in the where it says insert main heading here. What I want to do is let's start with the main content here first. And we want to put about Meridian Green Start. So I just click in here. And when it turns to, for the blue turns to orange, I can go ahead and I can either add it in the live view, or I can go ahead and I can add it down here in the code view. So if I do it in the code view, I'll just do it, we're going to do it both ways. There we go. Make sure I don't do too much. About Meridian Green Start. Okay, and before you know it, should pop up here. Come on. There you go. About Meridian Green Start. And then the subheading, I'll go ahead and I'll edit it from here. And again, my computer is very sluggish at the moment because I'm broadcasting to you. And I just got a brand new router. And so I know that that's not the issue. So green, oh, come on. So it's got to be an issue with Zoom. As I just had people out from Spectrum too. So everything else is running smoothly. So I want Green Start. Again, the reason it's going slowly is because my computer is going slowly. Come on. In the past, web design wasn't so taxing on the computer. But maybe Dreamweaver is these days. Green Start. Again, I apologize for it being, it should just type very quickly. Green awareness in action. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so I have the next part. I'm going to go ahead and with this child page here, I'm going to make sure that I'm saving this stuff as I go in case something crashes. It doesn't hurt to do that. Okay. The next step is to take rich text format and where it says insert content here, bring content in from elsewhere and put it in here. So again, this is one of these things that I'll show you how to do it incorrectly, and then I will do it correctly. What I want to do is I want to open the About Us text, RTF, which stands for Rich Text Format. So if I just double click on that, it will launch my text program, my basic text program, text edit. And what I want to do is I want to just click anywhere inside it and select Command A for select all, and then Command C for copy. Now again, if you're on the PC, it won't be Command, it will be Control. So now if I come in here and you'll notice that there's multiple paragraphs. So now where it says insert content here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit paste. And you'll notice what happens. That's not what I wanted. All those paragraph breaks are broken. You could go back in and change them, one at a time, but that's not what I want to do. I'm going to go back here. And instead, I'm going to switch to, let me click here again. There we go. I'm going to switch to design view. And I'm going to paste. And notice that all the paragraph breaks are intact. Why is that? I don't have a clue. Again, it's one of those odd features between going from live view to design view. And I guess my action got cut off. And I can also, where it says insert content here, I can click in here. Notice that I have my H1 tag. I have my H2 tag. I thought I had done that. Okay. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah, now I'll make sure that everything is saved. But before I do, where it says insert green content here, maybe I'll just do that from code view. And I'll highlight it and delete it. So you can work in either live view or green or code view, it doesn't matter, whatever you feel comfortable with. And I go back and forth between the two. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit Command Save to make sure that everything is saved. Okie doke. So next step, we want to go ahead and we have content from elsewhere that we're going to add into our left and our right aside. And to do that, we're going to go into a resource folder. Actually, it's not the resource folder. They have an HTML page for us. That was rich text format was in our resource folder. So what we want here, though, is it says sidebars 08 HTML. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Now, if this is already formatted for us, for example, you'll notice that we have up here in this group, we have, oh, come on. There we go. Okay. Let's scroll up. And here we, oh, come on. Scroll up. You'll notice that we have our quotes. Now, they're already broken down into paragraph. We already, if we look at the code down here, you're going to see that we have a block quote. And okay, and you'll also notice that it's already broken down. If we look at the code into aside, we already have the class that we used before. For the medium size screen, we have 3 columns. We need medium pull six units, and then for a small screen, column size is 4, but we have small pull 8. So this goes in the left side. So what we can do here in the aside class, we can select that, and we can select the whole aside down here. Okay, so I'm in code. While I'm doing this, I'm selecting this in the code view. And notice that it matches what we've done in the previous lesson exactly. Now, if it doesn't, you would have to put this in by hand. But what I can do now is I can go ahead and I can copy this. I can go back to my About Us. And again, I'm going to select inside where the quotes go here. Come on. Let me go ahead and I'm again use the tag selector. And I'm going to select the whole aside down here. And with that selected, I'm going to go ahead and, oh, come on. Make sure that it's selected. I can hit delete. No, it won't let me do it. So let me go ahead and paste and see if that helps. Nope, it didn't work. So I thought I had copied it from before, and I guess I didn't. No. So what I'm going to do instead is a little bit different. Because this is locked in, this turns out that this is locked in here. So I do need to go back to the HTML page. And I'm just going to select not the entire aside. Come on. There we go. I'm going to select, instead of the asides, I'm just going to select the block quotes. So I'll go from block quote here, and there's 3 block quotes. And make sure that I go all the way to the closing block quote, but just before the closing tag for the aside. I'll copy that instead. Now, if this other page wasn't locked, I would be able to do that. So where we have here where it says block quote, I'm going to highlight that. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paste. And you'll notice that all the block quotes from the other page fit perfectly. We're going to do the same for the right side. I can go ahead and I can open up the sidebar 8, okay, HTML, but this time we're going to bring in pictures, photographs and captions and that sort of thing. And I'm going to put it in here just as I did with the block quotes over here. So that's just copying and pasting in the code view. And if everything is formatted properly, you don't have anything to worry about. If it's not, then you need to go back in the code view and you decide, okay, if these are block quotes, then you have an opening and a closing tag. Within that, you're going to have a paragraph tag that has the quote, and then you're going to have a cite tag for the person who made the quote, so that everything follows all of the styling that we did in lesson 6 and 7. Okay, well, let's go back to this again, and let's work on the right side. So again, I'm going to click here where the photograph is. So here's our figure, and actually this is inside something called a section. Again, it's another kind of, what can I say? A way to organize your files. So, and to be able to be more specific with your the selectors that you create. So what I want to do is I want to select that entire section, and I'm going to go ahead and copy it. And contained within that section should be all the photographs and all of the quotes, the captions that go inside it. So here's the opening tag for this section. You'll see that we have a figure here, a figure of caption, a figure, and then there is a closing tag for the first section, and then an opening tag for the next section with a figure caption, and then there'll be a closing tag too for those, and again, go all the way down to the last section, closing tag for the section. Now I'm going to go ahead and copy it, and I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to click anywhere inside the right side, okay? And where it says H2, insert sidebar heading here, or insert sidebar content here, I'm going to highlight all of that because that's what I want to get rid of. I don't need that. Now I can go ahead and hit paste. And it brings in the photographs, and it brings in the captions. But unfortunately, I'm using, let me go back here. So everything is working very smoothly, but on yours, you shouldn't see, the photograph should be flush left. So what I need to do is, this is something that we're going to add in the remainder of the lesson here. That when I go to the CSS designer, come on, and I select an element in here. But this is what we're going to add. So if I go to green styles, I've already added them from previous lesson. But what we're going to do is we're going to be able to overwrite the existing ones. And let me go ahead and remove them now, and then go back and maybe, because it's 10:45, 46. I need to find sidebar 2. Let's find out where they are. So it'd be sidebar 2. Yeah, see, we have sidebar 2 section figure image, and we have sidebar 2 section figure image caption. Okay, so where those go would be, I already have these here, so I could go ahead and I can delete them. And then when we come back on Thursday, I'll go ahead and I'll add them back in here. Okay, and now we have our first page created from our template. So I'm going to make sure that this is saved. And I want to show you why it's important to use templates. You don't always have to use them. For our website, the one that you'll be designing at the end of the semester, you really don't have to, because it'll only be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 pages. So what we can do is that if we decide to come up here and make sure that everything is saved, one. There we go. It's all saved. So I'm good to go. So the next thing that we want to do is that, let's say I decided, you know what, I need to make changes to my nav bar. And instead of green news or maybe home, let's just say I want it to be my home or something like, or our home. Well, do you want to do that for every page? Think about it. When, later on, if you're doing a website with 100 pages, you don't want to have to do that 100 times. So instead, what we could do is we can go back to my layout, BWT, the Dreamweaver template. Okay, and I can put in here, I can put my home. Okay, now let's go back to, from design view, back to live view. See how that looks. That looks pretty good. And now if I go back to, and I save that, let's go ahead and save the template. And it's going to ask me, update all files based on this template. And I only have one page, one child page from this. And it is up, about us, page 2. And I'll go ahead and I'll say update. That's what you want to see. And then I'll go ahead and update pages. And then once that's done from the template, I can go ahead and close it. Now I can go to my About Us 2 page, and you'll notice that a change has been made. Notice up here in the nav bar, it's already changed to my home. That's where templates can be a huge, saving. It can be very efficient, because if you do make changes to the to content that is static on the pages, it will change all the pages, all the child pages that have been created from it, not just one. So if I go back again, and I'm going to go back again, and I'm going to change that again. So I'm going to go from live view back to design view. Let's make it a little bit easier here. I'm going to remove my okay, and save it. And again, it's going to ask me, do I want to make those changes to the page that I created from it? If you don't want to update it, then don't. But I'm going to go ahead and update it. I can select close. Now we can go back to About Us. And you can see that it's gone back to home rather than my home. So if I were wanting to update and revise my header and put in a different image, put in a different title, make any changes to any of these locked elements, then I could, no matter how many pages I've created from the template, I can update them all in one fell swoop. So that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to cover today. Okay. And then on Thursday, we'll finish up this lesson, and I'll talk a little bit more about adding the selectors for the, I'll remove these and add selectors to the, make sure that the images are centered. We have a little bit of padding for the text. and so on and so forth. And then we'll be able to start next week on lesson 9. Okay? Do you have any questions? How about publishing lesson 7? Everybody's okay with that? Is there anyone who needs any help? Again, if you publish it and it doesn't work, my recommendation is to remove it from Infinity Free's website. Go back to Dreamweaver and make sure that you have the correct root folder selected and the correct image folder within that root folder selected. Save all, and then go back and republish everything. And that will be your safest bet, rather than just try to, replace the page or something like that. Okay. If there aren't any questions, then that's it for today. Okay. And I will see everybody on Thursday. Okay. Yeah, you're very welcome. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye, stop the recording, and this will all be up in about an hour or so. Yeah, have a good day.